Welcome to another edition of Hey Bobby. Ray Horner with you with Senior VP with the Cleveland Guardians, Bob DiBiasio with us on WAKR. And I guess, Bobby, we have to start out. Today, you and I talk baseball, we talk history, we talk different players, but how about this team? Best record in Major League Baseball, getting some great performances for a number of individuals. First year manager, the youngest manager in baseball, and these guys are just doing it game in, game out. You've seen so much baseball. I wanted to get your opinion through the first month of this season on what you really, really like, which there's probably a lot, but what you really, really like about this baseball team right now.
Yeah, hello, Ray. It's pretty amazing when you think about a brand new skipper. You think about the youngest team in baseball. There's a new hero every game. We're built 1 through 9 when it comes to offense, and we're built on pitching and defense. And while our starting rotation has been beset by a few injuries, we still have the fourth lowest ERA overall in all of baseball. That's a testament to how good the bullpen's been. I think we're tied for third or fourth in runs scored. So it's just, and we've played phenomenal defense. So when you look at our team as a whole, we're built on the fact that with pitching and defense and hoping to get an aggressive offense, but all the parts have to, come together for us to be a consistent winning baseball team. And all those pieces are in the right flow. We've got the mojo of 2023. There's that kind of vibe of 2 years ago when we won 92 games in 2 rounds of the postseason. But to do it with a brand new manager and the youngest team in baseball is pretty fun.
Offensively, Josh Naylor looks to me like he's expecting to get a hit every time he's at the plate. I love his confidence at the plate. He's been clutch. And then Andres Jimenez, last year, obviously terrific with the glove. He is year in, year out. But we missed his offense last year. Man, is he giving us punch and clutch hitting as well. Those two guys, among many others, but those two guys are really standing out to me right now.
Yeah, without question. You throw Stephen Kwan in there, probably right now the best leadoff hitter in baseball, batting 350 or over, leading our team obviously in runs scored. But I think you're right. You talk about Josh Naylor really being the dynamic offensive threat of this ball club thus far. Normally we say that about Jose Ramirez, who still, I think, is in the top 10 maybe in RBIs in the league, and he quite hasn't got to his flow that we're normally used to with him. And Andres Jimenez, again, I think that harkens back to 2 years ago when his offensive abilities, especially hitting with runners in scoring position, really took this team to another level. And you're right, last year his offense dipped, and so did our offense. Now all of a sudden he's back doing his thing, and we're off to a 16-6 start, and no question it takes everybody in our lineup, as I mentioned, a new hero every day, but the keys to it thus far, Stephen Kwan, Andres, Josh Naylor, have just been fantastic.
You mentioned a couple of moments ago some injuries to the pitching staff, and this bullpen with Karen, Gaddis, and some of these guys that we have just plugged in because we've been hit with some injuries back there have done the job as well. And, you and I talked year in, year out about bullpens. They're tough to gauge going in and out of each and every year. But boy, this bullpen has been terrific so far.
Well, it has. And it really does start at the back end. I mean, Emmanuel Class A, one of the premier closers in all of baseball the last 2 years. Um, the two struggles, the games he struggled in, one was extra innings with a guy on second with a 1-run lead. That's a tough way to come in and try to keep a team down. We won that game. And the other one that happened, where he wasn't able to close it out, we won that one as well. So when he has not been right, it hasn't cost us a ball game. But he's 6 for 6 or 7 for 7 or something like that. And closing out some games. And when the back end guy is doing his thing, it helps everybody else set up. But to see Cade Smith and Mr. Heron and Eli Morgan and a couple other guys do their job, it's fun to see. And we have more on the way.
Yes, we do. Senior VP with the Cleveland Guardians, Bob DiBiasio with us. Hey, Bobby, we call it. He mentioned the back end of the bullpen. And Bobby has said on this show, he thinks it's the single most difficult thing to do, maybe in sports, but for sure in baseball. And I go back and I bring that up, Bob, because I wanted you to expand a little bit on Jose Mesa. I was standing in line at the game a couple of weeks ago in the New York series, and a gentleman was in front of me, and he was talking about him and his dad. They came all to the games in the 90s, and he was just hammering Jose Mesa. And I said, you know what? I said, a lot of people just, and I finally, I couldn't help myself. I talked for a living. And I said, a lot of people really hammer Jose Mesa for that one game, but go back and look what he did for the team in those few years. I mean, he was pretty darn good. And sometimes, Bobby, Jose Mesa doesn't get his due because of one outing, but he was really good for us.
Yeah, the one outing that people, game 7 of the World Series, obviously down in Miami, 1997. That was a tough one for all of us, and that was really unfortunate because he, absolutely terrific performer. It's interesting. He was a trading deadline guy, July of 92. We traded a young minor leaguer by the name of Kyle Washington to Baltimore for Jose Mesa. And he immediately goes into our starting rotation. And he starts 33 games in 1993. And then at spring training 1994, John Hart and Grover and Dan O'Dowd, they're trying to figure out who in the heck is going to be our closer. We didn't have one. Steve Olin, sadly, had passed away, who was our closer, and a darn good one, with the tragic boating accident. And so in 94, as we open up our new building, our new ballpark, they're looking for somebody at the back end of the bullpen. And they settled in on Jose Mesa because he could throw hard and he was a strike thrower. And so they sat down, and this was like almost late spring training when they identified him. And so 94, he ends up only saving 2 games, doesn't start any games. He just plays around in the bullpen a little bit, and then they give him the ball at the back end of the bullpen in 95, and next thing you know, he's got 46 saves, leading the league. And the very next year, he's got 39 saves. And I have to mention that because Emmanuel Clase is the only closer in the history of our franchise to have back-to-back 40 save seasons. Jose Mesa was 46, and then he followed it up with 39. Mike Jackson in the late 90s, had 40 saves one year and then backed it up with 39. But Emmanuel has the last couple of years has been over 40 saves. Again, the only guy to do that, and had 44 leading the league last year. And so Jose had a period of time where he was just unhittable. I mean, he pitched 19 inning or 19 years. Did you realize that he
No.
spent 19 years in the big leagues? After he left us, he pitched around baseball with a bunch of other teams. His longest tenure was with us, 7 years with us. And it's unfortunate that, that we're not sitting there doing what we do in the postseason if it wasn't for Jose Mesa.
Hey, Bobby, Senior VP with the Cleveland Guardians, Bob DiBiasio joins us each week, takes time out of his schedule to join us here on WAKR, WAKR.net, YouTube channel, and of course our Facebook page. My friend, good show again today. Look forward to it next week.
Yes, sir. Always a treat. Go Guardians.